Today's Velshi Band Book Club feature, Salvage the Bones by Jesmyn Ward, begins with a birth. 15-year-old Esh, her brothers Skeeta, Randall Jr., and their father watch in a small dilapidated shed as China, Skeeta's white pit bull, delivers puppies for the first time. One comes into the world already dead. Five of them are fragile. They're born fighting. This moment, masterfully written over the course of an entire chapter, introduces themes that we're going to see again and again. The thin line between life and death, the intricacies of family dynamics, the all-encompassing restriction of racialized poverty, and the complexities of love. Set in the 12 days leading up to and just after Hurricane Katrina makes landfall, Salvage the Bones is broken down into vignettes that read as complete stories of their own. Every chapter is a single day as told to us by our Esh, our teenage protagonist. We join her as she and Randall steal crucial supplies for their family. We join her as she tries to save China's puppies from the deadly floodwaters. And we join her as she discovers that she's pregnant. Quote, I look at the stick, remember what it said on the packaging at the store. 2 lines means you are pregnant. You are pregnant. I sit up and curl over my knees, rub my eyes against my kneecaps. The terrible truth of what I am flares like a dry fall fire in my stomach, eating all the fallen pine needles, end quote. Esh bucks whatever notion you may have of a pregnant teenage protagonist. Esh is commanding of her sexuality, sensitive. She readily draws comparisons between her life and the Greek mythology that she's been assigned for school. Quote, in every one of the Greek mythology tales, there is this, a man chasing a woman or a woman chasing a man. There's never a meeting in the middle. There's only a body in a ditch, only one person walking toward it or away from it, end quote. While Salvage the Bones is at its core a story chronicling the lives of an impoverished family in the American South, it's also a story about discovering love. Rejected by Manny, the father of her child, abandoned by a mother dead from childbirth, and without a present father, Esh has little basis for understanding love. The most constant and honest example of love and devotion is between Skeeta and his pit bull, China. The book's most tender and striking scenes are between Skeeta and China. They are a true partnership. Even when Skeeta subjects China to brutal violence in a dogfight ring, they appear as a team, both victims of their circumstance. Skeeta whispers in her ear, quote, China, make them know, even though they want to, they can't live without you, China. They walk together out of the ring. Once you finally finish Salvage the Bones, it's entirely clear why it won the National Book Award for Fiction in 2011. The rich imagery, the nuanced characters, and Ward's amazing ability to poetically depict beauty and gore almost interchangeably make for a book that is nothing short of a modern classic. This book changes you. And finally, I have a message for the 2 parents who lodged a formal complaint against a teacher in Guilford County, North Carolina, for assigning this book to her AP English class. And for anyone else targeting this book in classrooms around the nation, I urge you to read it, cover to cover. Calling Salvage the Bones, quote, trash, garbage, and pornography, end quote, like those 2 parents did, proves to me they didn't read it. We've featured nearly 70 books on the Velshi Band Book Club, and there are few that are as compelling, as thought-provoking as this one. This is the sort of literature that should be assigned to every English class in America. Discuss Esh's family dynamic, pick apart the writing, examine the allusions to nature, and decide what survival looks like. You will be better for it. I know I am. I'm joined now by Jesmyn Ward, the only woman and the only black person to win the National Book Award for Fiction twice. She is the author of numerous all-important books, including today's Velshi Band Book Club feature, Salvage the Bones. Jesmyn, thank you for writing the book, and thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you all for having me.
I want to start with the depiction of motherhood in Salvage the Bones. Esh's mother dies in childbirth. Esh's own pregnancy is met with rejection from the father. And then there's the moment I was talking about with China when she kills one of her own puppies. Quote, China is a bloody-mouthed, bright-eyed as Medea. If she could speak, this is what I could ask her. Is this what motherhood is, end quote? Talk to me about this.
You know, much of the book is spent, all of the book is told from Esh's point of view, right? And so throughout the entire book, she's trying to figure out what it means to be a mother because, unfortunately, as you mentioned earlier, she doesn't have any models for it, right? So she has to look for models of motherhood in unlikely places. One of the models that she looks to is she looks to China, right? She also looks to the myth of Medea, right? And in the end of near the end of the book, she realizes, like, she begins to look at the hurricane, which is Hurricane Katrina, as sort of a model of a type of mother. I know that sounds strange, but so she has to, she has to look to unfamiliar, unfamiliar things to figure out like what it means to care for something else, and in a brutal world, right? And she sort of learns that that unfortunately sometimes caregivers can be brutal, right? Sometimes caregivers can fail those that they're supposed to care for, even though they love them. So I think she learns a lot of complicated lessons about love from these unlikely sources.
There is Greek mythology through line throughout the book. You just mentioned the story of Medea. Why this story as a vehicle?
Because I'm going to offer an unsatisfying answer to that question. I happened to have Edith Hamilton's mythology on my desk at the time that I was writing the rough draft of Salvage the Bones. And I have always loved that book since I was like 12 years old. And I wanted Esh to have a source, something outside of herself that she could reference and that she could read. And I looked at that book and I thought, well, why can't she read Edith Hamilton's mythology? And so as I was writing Esh's story and as Esh was reading Edith Hamilton's mythology, I was also reading it at the same time. And so when I got to the part, when I happened upon the tale of Jason and the Argonauts, that's when Esh happened upon the tale of Jason and the Argonauts. And it just clicked in that moment, right? It just seemed to me right that Esh would, stop there and pay attention to that tale because it's so different from all the tales that come before it.
Salvage the Bones and two of your other novels, Sing Unburied Sing and Where the Line Bleeds, take place in the fictional town of Bois Sauvage. You've said before that it's based on your hometown and where you're raising your family now. Tell me more about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bois Sauvage is a fictionalized version of my hometown, which is DeLisle, Mississippi. It's a small rural town on the Mississippi Gulf Coast where I grew up in a way I don't think that a lot of people grow up. They don't have that opportunity anymore. I mean, I was very firmly rooted in a large community, a large Black community. A core, sort of family, a very, very large extended family. I have over 200 people in my extended family. So there are a lot of us. And so I think, that's what I think keeps me there and makes me committed to, living in the place that inspires me because I'm so firmly rooted in my family and in my community. And also, the landscape is very beautiful to me. The place is very beautiful to me. And so, that's what draws me there and keeps me there.
You included 3 quotes in your epigraph. One is from Deuteronomy in the Old Testament, one is from the poet Gloria Fuertes, and one is from the Atlanta hip-hop group Outkast. The last one reads, "We on our back, staring at the stars above, talking about what we're going to be when we grow up. I said, what you want to be?" She said, "Alive." What's the significance of that?
I love Southern rap. I love Outkast. I'm a huge Outkast fan. And I, because I feel like Southern rap and music was so necessary and instrumental to my life when I was growing up. It informed so much of my ideas about myself and the world that I was moving through and what was possible, and gave me keys to understand that world. I wanted to reference Southern rap in the beginning of the book, in one of the epigraphs. And I was listening to Outkast, and of course, Andre 3000 like raps those lyrics. And I thought, this is perfect, right? I mean, it was such I think, an expression of what I think Esh and what I would be struggling with in the book, right? I mean, what these characters want more than anything is they want to live, they want to survive, they want to tell their stories, they want witness, and so I think that epigraph expresses that.
Jesmyn, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on the Velshi Band Book Club. Thank you for writing this amazing book. Thank you for sharing. I mean, we could go on for an hour with all the great parts about this book, but I really appreciate having you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jesmyn Ward is the two-time winner of the National Book Award for Fiction, the author of Salvage the Bones and many other books, including Let Us Descend.